but now my knowledge was not enough. So find the gap and make a study plan to do that. And next is to tailor the resume and apply jobs as many as we can. So actually, when I was looking for a job, I posted my resume on LinkedIn. So by that way, I got lots of response and help. So I also apply like many jobs as well. The job at Microsoft was from I myself applied to that directly. And there's some tech companies including Microsoft and also Google, I think they have programs specifically for PhD graduates. So make sure you apply for those. And for some people who are transitioning into tech from a non-traditional background, like for example, someone study biology, not something related to statistics, mathematics, or computer science, or non-traditional background in data science, and make sure that you can check out some special programs, for example, the LEAP program at Microsoft, which is designed for people who have a non-traditional background but are interested in the tech. So as far as I know, those programs are quite competitive, to be honest. If you have zero experience, it's very hard to get into the interviews. So people who should apply for this program should have some prior experience. It doesn't need to be a work experience, but you need to show your effort. You need to show you really try to nail that. For example, you may attend some boot camp before, even you don't have major in computer science or other engineering major, but you really try very hard. You take some courses on Coursera and you did some projects on Kaggle. So something like that will help you to make your resume look better. And next, I also want to share some interview tips. Just like I said before, there are also lots of interview tips. So here I will only share 3 of those. The first one is speak the language. So whenever what type of job you are looking for, make sure that you and the interviewer are on the same page. So you speak the language that he or she can understand. That's very important. And the second is be curious and show the potential to grow. Well, in my opinion, it's very, very important, especially for PhD graduates or any other new graduates want to find the first job. Because we are students. We used to be students, and now we are looking for the first job. No one gonna expect us to know everything. They just want us to have some basic knowledge. Especially for some basic knowledge, we need to have very deep understanding. So we don't have any practical experience. That's totally fine, but make sure to show you're curious and show the potential to grow. I can give an example here. So every time after my interviews, I will definitely email the interviewers about the follow-ups. So in the follow-ups, I will thanks the interviewers. That's for sure. And next, I'm gonna include the questions that I was not able to answer during the interviews. But then I did some research, and I got the answer. I got the solution, and then I will attach the answer to the email. So by that way, the interviewer is gonna feel wow, I mean that person, she is able to learn, she is able to educate herself, and she has the potential to grow. That's very important. So the third thing is smile. Smile may sound a little bit weird, but that's super, super important, because the interviewers is not only the interviewers. First of all, he or she is a person, right? Nobody want to work with people who they don't feel good with. So definitely treat your interviewers as persons first, and then they are your interviewers. And they are not only your interviewers, but they have they may be your future colleagues as well. So they will everyone wanted to find some colleagues that they feel comfortable working with. So definitely show your real self, keep smile, and no need to worried, or no need to feel so nervous or fake yourself or something. Just to be real. That's also very important in my opinion. And there are some other random things here. First, is manage the expectation. When I was looking for jobs at the beginning, I was not confident with myself. I was thinking like, can I really find a job in data science? And then I set a very low expectation for myself. But during the interviews, I found out that, wow, I really can do, I really can do that. So my confidence boosted at that point, and then I set my expectation a little bit higher. So it's very normal that you may change your expectation during this process. And the second is like all the process, like no matter it's like prepare for like the interviews or you make study plan, all of those are not a linear process. So sometimes you need to go back and forth to make some changes, which is totally normal. So no need to be panic when you feel like, wow, like I don't know what I don't know what to do or what to improve. Just like go back a little bit, like take a step back and to revise your plan or make some changes. So it's definitely not a linear process. And after we talk about that, I'm gonna share what I learned from my 20-month work at Microsoft. So the first thing I want to share is to align like our personal professional growth with the team and business goals. So when we join a company, like the first thing is to understand like the KPIs or some important metrics, like in our current team, to understand what is important for the business. So at the same time, we should think about our personal professional growth as well. Like what type of job you want to do, like what a person you want to be, like are you, I mean, which area of data science projects that you want to do. That's also very important. We are not like a machine who is hired just to do the projects. We are like an individual, and we should definitely consider our personal growth as well. And the second is about impact and visibility. So when I was at school, I had no idea what about like impact or visibility, because like at that point, I talked to my professor, and I have some professors in the community, and I have classmates. There's no need to learn like how to make impact or how to be visible at school, something like that. So so that's what I learned from like my first year at Microsoft, that impact and visibility is very important. Impact here can be like the business impact, can also be some other type of impacts. For example, like you help other people, you make impact on other people. That can also be an impact. So there's an interesting story that I can share about like how I increase my visibility in my org. It's a little bit funny story, but I just want to give you an example here. So for me, I really like drawing, and I'm good at taking notes. So there's a type of notes taking technique, which is called sketch note or visual notes, which means like you take notes and you draw something on the notes to make that to be more like kind of cute or pretty. So there are some meetings like in my org, and I was just like kind of feel bored about the meeting, and then I took notes. I took the visual notes for the meeting, and after the meeting, I uploaded my notes to the Teams chat, and people feel like so like impressed by my notes. They never saw like some people like make notes like that way. So I was just like a data scientist, like a entry level data scientist, but I was able to make myself visible to like my scheme managers and more other people in my org. And sometimes like if I have some projects that I need to like work with them, like the first thing they say about me is that, oh, you are the girl who like make notes for our meetings. Like those notes are very pretty, something like that. So that's a way that you can increase your visibility as well. So there's like lots of ways to do that. It doesn't need to be like business impact immediately, but it's gonna help your career, and you will like grow, and also you will make some more like business impact in the future. So yeah, that's an interesting story. The next thing I want to say is like growth mindset. I didn't realize that I had a fixed mindset in the first year at Microsoft. At that point, I was like very scared to take like challenges. Every time when I had some like projects that I totally have zero idea of, I was like panicked and I was like worried. But later on, I found out that those challenges are actually opportunities. So I kind of like changed my mind in this process. I changed my mind from like fixed mindset to growth mindset. So with the growth mindset, we're always thinking about, is that a learning opportunity? What we can learn in this process rather than what we need to worry in this process. So that's where, like, in my opinion, that kind of like changes the way that I work like 100%. And next is self-awareness and reflection. Like for me, I like writing. So sometimes like I publish some papers, not papers, like just some random words or like articles, like on my personal social media, like to summarize like what's going on in my life at work and what I learned. So for me, that's a way to do the self-awareness and reflection. So everyone kind of like have a different style. No matter which one you choose, you can either talk to other people or you can write something down or whatever you want, but make sure that you kind of reflect on something like for yourself a bit, and be self-awareness is very important. And the last thing is hobbies and passion. So hobbies, and I mean, when I was a PhD student, I was like fully focused on the PhD work. I want to graduate as soon as possible. So I really didn't pay much attention to like hobbies or something like that. But at work, I found out like hobbies, like when you have passion about something that you are passionate about, are very important. They can be very good like conversational starters. So for example, like when you have a meeting, especially in the first 5 minutes of a meeting, like we just talk about some random stuff, right? Especially during the COVID, when we don't have the chance to meet that person, to meet our colleagues in person, like we really need to share a little bit more about our life, like at the beginning of each meeting. And sometimes like our colleagues ask us like, what did we do like on weekends, something like that. So if you have something that you are passionate about, or you have some hobbies, that's the best time to share those. And by share those, you kind of like build a connection, and maybe that person also share the same hobbies like you. And it's also a good way to show that you are not only like a colleague, but you can also be friends. So in my opinion, I feel like that's something like we should also keep in mind as well. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I have on my slides today. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Yayin, for sharing your experiences. Definitely record a lot of that. The growth mindset. I actually got that book as a gift from one of my friends. It's a book that I really enjoyed. Yeah, and especially in tech, like the revolution of technology is so fast. Every 2 years, I feel like I'm using a completely different set of tools. So growth that is definitely very important. Um, yeah, I see if we have like a couple of specific questions for you, and if not, we can just move on to the next one, and we can answer all the questions in the end as well.
Yeah, I see some people like asking for the notes. Yeah, actually, like for the notes I took for like the internal meetings. Sorry, I couldn't share those, but I took some notes for the GHC, the Grace Hopper conference as well on my LinkedIn. So feel free to check out my LinkedIn to see my previous posts, and you can find out some notes I took before. Yeah. And also like in the chat window, I see like Sophia posted our like self introductions like in the chat as well. Like no need to follow me on YouTube, please, really, because I mean I was intent. I mean I just like I was quite